Hello dear students, welcome back to my science class. Today I am going to continue with the chapter physical and chemical changes. In our previous class we have discussed about few examples of chemical changes. Today we are going to discuss a few more. So let's recapitulate. In previous class, we have discussed the reaction between magnesium ribbon and oxygen. We have seen that magnesium ribbon, when react with oxygen, it bonds with a dazzling white light and produce magnesium oxide. If we collect this white ash of magnesium oxide and make them react with water, we see that magnesium hydroxide is produced. This magnesium hydroxide turn red litmus into blue. That proves that magnesium oxide is basic in nature. In these equations, that means the produced magnesium hydroxide or magnesium oxide cannot be again get back into previous state, that is magnesium ribbon. So these are irreversible permanent change. So example of chemical change. In another reactions, we have seen reaction between copper sulfate and iron. If an iron blade is kept in copper sulfate solution, we have seen that the blue colored copper sulfate solution turned into green colored iron sulfate solution with deposition of copper. We cannot once again get back the solution of copper sulfate. So this is also example of irreversible chemical change. Today we are going to learn a few more examples of chemical changes. Activity 6.8. Take about a teaspoonful of vinegar in a test tube. Add a pinch of baking soda to it. We all know vinegar is 5% solution of acetic acid. With this, we have added baking soda. You would hear a hissing sound and see bubbles of a gas coming out. Pass this gas through freshly prepared lime water. What happens to the lime water? So what exactly we are doing here? We have taken vinegar or acetic acid and baking soda, which is actually sodium hydrogen carbonate. Make them two react with each other and we have got carbon dioxide and other substances. We want to see that whether the produced gas is carbon dioxide or not. So, a pictorial representation of the equation, reaction between vinegar and baking soda and produced gas is passed through one channel and this is into another test tube. We have kept the freshly prepared lime water and carbon dioxide is passed into it. What we have seen? That the lime water turned milky. Why? Reaction between carbon dioxide and lime water, which is actually calcium hydroxide, produce calcium carbonate and water. So calcium carbonate turned lime water into milky. This is a standard test for carbon dioxide. The turning of lime water into milky is a standard test of carbon dioxide. That means if any of the equation we try to know whether carbon dioxide is produced or not, we can perform this reaction. If we see that the lime water is turned into milky, we will be sure that in the given reaction, carbon dioxide is produced. So, we have learned that a change in which one or more new substances are formed is known as chemical change. We have learned about physical change where we have seen change in the shape, size and state of the matter, but no new substances was formed. But in chemical change, we see new substances are formed. A chemical change is also called a chemical reaction. Chemical changes are very important in our lives. All new substances are formed as a result of chemical change. For example, digestion of food in our body, ripening of fruits, fermentation of grapes, etc. happen due to series of chemical changes. A medicine is the end product of a chain of chemical reactions. So you can understand how important chemical reactions or chemical changes are. Useful new materials such as plastic and detergents are produced by chemical reactions. Indeed, every new material is discovered by studying chemical changes. We have seen that one or more new substances are produced in a chemical change. In addition to new products, the following may accompany a chemical change. Children, this is very important. What? Heat and light or any other radiation may be given off or absorbed. We have just seen in the reaction between magnesium and ribbon and oxygen. We have seen both heat and light produced. In the previous chapter, you have read about neutralization reaction, where you have read that heat is evolved. Next is sound may be produced. Just now we have seen reaction between vinegar and baking soda. Carbon dioxide produced by producing a hissing sound. A change in smell, ripening of fruit, results into changing smell, even cooking of food, right? A color change may take place. Just now we have seen that copper sulfate change into iron sulfate and there is a change in color. A gas may be formed. Carbon dioxide can form, hydrogen can formed in many reactions. So these also accompanied in a chemical change. Formation of new substance along with these changes. We saw that burning of magnesium ribbon is a chemical change. Burning of coal, wood, leaf is also a chemical change. Children, I will tell you, burning of anything is a chemical change. Because anything is burning, that means it is reacting with oxygen. So it is always a chemical change. And burning is always accompanied by production of heat. That is quite natural. Explosion of a firework is a chemical change. You know that such an explosion produces heat, light, sound and unpleasant gases that pollute the atmosphere. That is why we are advised not to play with fireworks. When food gets spoiled, it produces a foul smell. Shall we call this change a chemical change? Definitely, it's a chemical change. You must have noticed that a slice of an apple acquires a brown color if it is not consumed immediately. If you have not seen this change in color, you can just do it. You can just cut an apple and keep it in the atmosphere for a certain time. You will see that it changes in color. Repeat the same activity with a slice of potato or brinjal. The change of color in these cases is due to formation of a new substance. This actually reacts with atmospheric oxygen. Are not these changes chemical change? Definitely, these are also chemical change. In chapter 5, you read about neutralization of acid and bases. Definitely a chemical change, already I told you. Now we are going to learn about one interesting thing, a protective shield. You must have heard of the ozone layer in our atmosphere. It protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation which comes from the sun. We all know about ozone layer that is present in the stratosphere of the atmosphere. Ozone absorbs this radiation and breaks down to oxygen. Oxygen is different from ozone. Children, if we consider formula, ozone is O3 whereas oxygen is O2. These two are completely different compound. Can we call breaking down of ozone is a chemical change? Yes, it is. If ultraviolet radiation were not absorbed by ozone, it would reach the Earth's surface and cause harm to us and other life form. Ozone acts as a natural shield against this radiation. We learned in chapter 1 that plants produce their food by a process of photosynthesis. Can we call photosynthesis a chemical change? Answer is again yes. Because in photosynthesis, reaction between carbon dioxide and water produce glucose and oxygen. So definitely it is a chemical change. Next is rusting of iron. Already I have discussed about this. If iron is exposed in atmosphere for a long time, it reacts with oxygen and moisture and form rust. Rust is actually iron oxide which formula is Fe2O3. Iron reacting with oxygen and water form iron oxide, that is rust. For rusting, the presence of both oxygen and water is mandatory. I also have told you that rust's characteristics are completely different from iron. It do not get attracted by a magnet. It's even not strong as magnet. In fact, if the content of moisture in air is high, which means if it is more humid, rusting become faster. So for rusting, we need presence of both oxygen and water. So how do we prevent rusting? We have to protect iron objects from oxygen or water. If any one is absent, rusting will not happen. So prevent iron articles from coming in contact with oxygen or water or both. One simple way is to apply a coat of paint or grease. In fact, this coat should be applied regularly to prevent rusting. Another way is to deposit a layer of metal like chromium or zinc on iron. We can simply paint it, or we can keep another metal layer or coat over it. The process of deposition a layer of zinc on iron is called galvanization. The iron pipe we used in our home to carry water are galvanized to prevent rusting, because this is continuously coming in contact with air and moisture. You know that ships are made up of iron and a part of them remains under water. On the part above water also, water drops keep clinging into the ship's outer surface. Moreover, the water of the sea contains many salts. The salt water make the process of rust formation faster. Therefore, ships suffer a lot of damage from rusting in spite of being painted. So much so that a fraction of ship's iron has to be replaced every year. So you can understand the expense for this. So we have an alternative. Not always can be used, but stainless steel is made by mixing of iron with carbon, and metals like chromium, nickel, manganese, it do not rust. So this is an alternative way. Last, we will learn about crystallization. It's a physical process. Making crystal of something, that means making something in pure form. In class 6, you have learned that salt can be obtained by evaporation of seawater. The salt obtained in this manner is not pure, and the shape of its crystal cannot be seen clearly. However, a large crystal of pure substances can be formed from their solutions. This process is called crystallization, example of a physical change. About the process of crystallization, we will learn in tomorrow's class. So we have learned a lot about different examples of chemical changes. Carefully, we have to write down all the chemical equations, because these are very much important. So in the next class, we are going to learn about crystallization. Thank you.